Hi guys. Make sure my audio is working. I like my music today. So I wasn't even gonna get on here. Let me stop this. Wait. Sorry, my kid wrote me. I always gotta stop when I see a message from my kid. 1 second. Dang, am I going to have to restart this video? No, I don't like to restart. That's not authentic. Y'all just going get this. Me checking my messages, T. Jared. I see his message too. So I was trying to, don't judge me, it's Scorpio season. I was trying to find out if the asteroid, this is so trifling, if the asteroid dick was accurate. So it's gonna sound so bad, but y'all don't know him. That's the great thing about me being him in the background. When he first met me, he was like, something about you makes me want to send you my dick pic. And I'm like, so at the time I didn't say anything. I had no place in my, like, I can't even, I don't understand that. It does not compute. Like, my Venus is an air sign. I am sapiosexual. That didn't compute. So now here we are, like a year later, right? And I'm like, so, sir, and I totally wrote him this random thing this morning. What made you want to send your ping as a calling card? Uh, when a guy is interested in a female, like if I had a Venus in Scorpio, I could understand that maybe like you need to see that up front to decide if you want to move forward. But I wanted to know, like in his chart, what made him make that decision? And that's what needed to be done. I don't think I got an answer on that. It's just, but I like went to his chart for the asteroid that like to see like, hey, is there something about your opinion that makes you feel like if you send this picture to people, they locked in? That's what I was trying to ask. I don't think it came right, even though I said a voice note. Like, I believe I asked people questions that they weren't expecting, and then they're like, don't fucking ask me about the psychology of why I do things. I just do it. But his dick was in Aries. So, like, a part of him is his dick. I didn't even tell him that. So, like, it is his calling card. Crazy. Let me tell y'all the number for this. And that was not even the theme of what I was doing today's video on, but I'm about to get y'all the asteroid number so y'all know. And you can go back and look at past pings you've had and be like, is this accurate? Scorpio season. I'm like, why did I get into this again? 17456. So I woke up this morning. I don't want to say in an awful mood, but my thoughts were not the most positive. They were not. And sure enough, when I went to go look at where the sun was today, because remember, wherever the sun is pinging that day, that's a focal point for you in your chart, but it's for every part of your storyline that has to do with that, right? Today, the sun is in Scorpio in the seventh house. So this is all the seedy, dark stuff about your relationship house. So I woke up late. I realized I was going in the wrong direction because I started feeling like Elsa vibes. And I almost put on red and black. If I ever got on red and black, it's not good for any of us. So instead, I listened to some music. I put on my little green dress, get in my heart space. It's fine. You don't have to go all ice queen. Put on my little rose ring. And then I started talking about dick pics. Because, like, what? At least I could be amused by all of the follies of relationships, which is actually what led me here. For the last couple days, not on purpose, I did a reading and I put one of my cards back in the wrong box, which is something that I honestly never do. The card I had was contract. So I'm going to go based on this. But also, when I was randomly shuffling the other night and I just let it stay here because it made me mad, The theme was kryptonite. And I can tell it's my handwriting, but I don't remember writing kryptonite. But we did channel when we were doing these cards. Me and my daughter Alexis sat down and we were listening to frequencies and we took time and we each made cards. But kryptonite, heartfelt desire. At the same time, uh, and this was already Scorpio season, Sucker for Love started popping up on my thing. And I'm like, are y'all trying to tell me something? It's like they're in Achilles I'm not aware of. Maybe. Because some stuff I don't feel like digging into. Like I can dig into anybody else's stuff and be like magnifying glass with them all the time, but I don't think I've really had anybody do it the other way. I don't think I'd like it. Or maybe it'd be nice to be seen for once. Who knows? So I am going to get into contracts today, guys. I'm going to look at it from an astrological perspective. And then I am going to pull some cards. So your Saturn in your chart is your contract. You can have a variety of contracts. Some people want them for themselves. That's the first house, the first degree in the sign of Aries at the 13th degree, and then also at the 25th degree. That's the contract you put on yourself for yourself. You want to develop yourself. You want to be known for something. Because remember, Saturn is always in your career, your reputation. That's how you know you're going in the right direction. It'll always be something revealed in the world's eye. And this could be you work at a supermarket. You got your contractor, Saturn and Aries. But everybody knows you at the supermarket. Like everybody in the neighborhood, like, oh, that's my bagger dude. Like you still know that's in your career. It's for yourself. Venus in second. I said Venus. Oh, sorry. Venus has been on my ass too. Maybe that's what'll help me avoid ending up Elsa again. Being on ice cream. I didn't even realize it lately when I've been picking out my video to go to sleep to. I've been sleeping in a cave. That is not good. That means that my heart is low. That's the thing that my soul does when it's done with everybody. I just like hide in caves in different aquatic areas. So I need to do something to pep myself back up. Music has been a great like intermediary thing. I guess that's the word I want to use. But I have got to do something else with myself. I'll figure that out another time. Saturn in second, or Taurus, or at the second, 14th, or 26th degree. That is a money contract. You came for guap. You came to know what you are worth, what your human can make, right? And this rain is sort of heavy. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it. That was annoying. If you have Venus in second, you'd probably have a bunch of stuff like this. Like you totally be a hoarder of unique and weird, fashionable things. Venus, I keep saying Venus. Saturn, this is your contract. In third, that's Gemini, or if you have it at the third degree, 15th degree, or the 17th. No, hold on, sorry, 27th degree. Saturn in third, Saturn in Gemini, Saturn at the third, 15th or 27th degree. You came to learn something. You wanted to make connections with other people so that you could learn things. You wanted to see what your mental facilities were. That's what you wanted to most build in this life. You might have even wanted to learn something and then find a way to share it with other people, which could be written or spoken. If you have Saturn in fourth in the sign of Cancer at the fourth degree, 16th degree, or 28th degree, you wanted a family. You wanted to build an emotional rapport with a group of people. You wanted to know what a home was. I have Saturn in fourth. I haven't got that quite yet. I mean, I got a family. I got a family, but not the home thing. That's why if you ever hear me like do a manifesting session, like the one I have to do later today for the Uprising series, you'll hear me say, I don't really care about all the other details. There's a specific home I want. I want a home that is like made of stone and stuff, and it's solid, and it's like my own personal bat cave. I really like caves, y'all. Sorry. But I would like this house to be so solid that my whole family can be there. And that's what I mean, like 12, 15 rooms. And if I reincarnate again, I would like to come back and my family still has this household. Like that's my dream, my vision. Something old. Like we have a really long farm style table downstairs so everybody gets to eat together. Like I love that idea of having like a commune type home. So Saturn in fifth or in the sign of Leo, or at the fifth, 17th, or 29th degree, you want to develop your creativity. You want to experience freedom. You want to experience real love. You want to live a life based upon your heart space. Saturn in sixth, you did something, baby. Saturn in sixth, Virgo at the sixth degree, or do this, Aisha, 18th degree. Haha. Sixth or 18th degree. You owed a debt. This was not your choice. Your contract, you see that line thing up here? This is a contract for service. You agreed to be of assistance to others in order to pay back a debt. It doesn't sound that exciting. Uh, I wouldn't imagine many people that had a sixth house contract would be here because they would technically be the working people of the world. I'm not sure that many people who have a Saturn in sixth are allowed to wake up. Well, knock my light over. Allowed to wake up in this life because they agreed to be of service. That's something that you sort of want to do while you're in sleeper mode. Like your soul is outside the body learning, but it's through your human that's like being puppeteer, as opposed to people who wake up. You start to take control of the experience. So Saturn in seventh house, Saturn in Libra, Saturn at the seventh or 19th degree. You wanted a partner. This is the lover's contract. You wanted to know what it was like to build something with somebody else. This could be a best friend. It could be a pet. Like if you have Saturn in Virgo in the seventh house, right? It could be a pet. Uh, but it really is, it's the lover's contract. Whatever you love, adore, partner with. Yeah, I'm trying to dig through other meanings for it. And no, this is a contract you and another person made together to do something. Saturn in eighth, Scorpio, at the eighth or 20th degree. This is another house of debts. You owed something. You owed something to somebody else. There is something you have to get off of your plate because this is the punishment house. This is the house in Hellenistic astrology where you like do your sentences if you get sent to the bad place. So if you came up here with the Saturn in the eighth house, you you paying back something. I have to sneeze. Hold on. Or Saturn in the eighth house. So Saturn in the ninth house, Saturn at, I'm sorry, Saturn in Sagittarius, Saturn at the ninth or the 21st degree. You wanted to learn something outside of what your family line has learned thus far. You wanted to be the one to break the mold. You wanted to go through life and experience things that made you educated enough to teach other people about these things. Sort of a guru, if you will. Possibly you even wanted to go from being somebody who learned a bunch of stuff through experience to turn into like a professor or something, like for you to be the it person on that subject. Saturn in 10th, Saturn in Capricorn, Saturn at the 10th or the 22nd degree. You wanted fame, you wanted reputation, you wanted to be known, you wanted your career to be your thing and all the accolades that come along with that. That also means that it's a little bit harder for you to achieve that because you want it so bad, which is messed up. But it's Saturn. It's like, hey, you want this? You're going to have to work all your life. All your attention is going to have to go to work. Everything about you is going into your career when you decide to take on a Saturn contract under Saturn, under Daddy Saturn. You're going to work. So Saturn in the 11th house, the sign of Aquarius, at the 11th or 23rd degree. You wanted to be a part of a soul tribe. You wanted to find a community that you belong to. This I would see with somebody who's like a Boys and Girls Club director. I could even see somebody in politics, like somebody in Congress. The president, I would imagine, would have a Saturn in like 10th or something. If you were in charge of like a cult, it would be, or no, I take that back. If you were a member of a cult, your Saturn would be in the 11th house. Not so much if you were the leader. If you were the leader, your Saturn would be in the name. But it's just so funny, right? Like this all predestined, it's already ahead of time. You already knew you were about to be a part of this call. With your Saturn in 11th or at the 11th degree of the 23rd degree, you wanted to be a part of something that was a movement that was going to make a mark on humanity in some way, shape, or form. This could be somebody who's a part of Black Lives Matters. It's just you wanted to be down for the cause. Saturn in Pisces, Saturn in 12th, Saturn at the 12th or 24th degree, the last one. You wanted to clear the table. You didn't want any more debt after this. This is the house of dissolution. It's the house of where all your past life stuff is, the house of isolation. That's why a lot of times if you have Saturn and 12, you might be on permanent hermit mode, but it's because you didn't want to accumulate any more karma while you was here. You just want to get rid of whatever had happened and you just want to be by yourself so you don't accrue no more. This could also be found with people who are like elusive magicians or filmmakers or poets and stuff because they just have to sit in their feelings and create all the time. So that's the rundown for your contracts in general. I have been talking to you guys for like the last 2 years because I have a lover's contract. I had a lover's contract. I don't know what I even have anymore. I have been praying for a swap. And it's not like, it just, I feel like I'm on pause, I'm on hold. There's something else I'm supposed to be doing. And then once I found out how many times I had tried this lover's contract and failed, I'm like, maybe I need to try a different one. So I looked into some people who had the self contract, just like, all right, if I put my contract on me, then boom, this could go easy. I just have to be me versus me, which is cool, right? I just have to make sure I don't turn into ice queen. Uh, and that's just when I don't leave anybody and I don't let anybody in because I'm like magical and I can just stay in my castle. I think that's another reason why I have Saturn in fourth. Keep in mind your contract or your Saturn is also the thing that you have the hardest time achieving because once you achieve that, you're not gonna really aspire for anything else. If they had given me my home in the beginning, I'd probably just be chilling. I'd be resting on my laurels. Uh, because once I get into my groove, I really don't want to interact much with others. Like it's cool, but I'm a very energetically sensitive person. Like recently, 211 is obsessed with baddies and Jocelyn's Cabaret. And I can't tell y'all how much I hate the Zeus network for this. Now, if Zeus is not real, y'all, why would that not be? Why would that not be the most trifling network available anywhere? Like it's all just females fighting. He's totally actually in charge of it. That's why two dudes are running it. It's just like I wish they had told us earlier on that the gods or whoever are still in existence. They're just aliens or entities outside of us. But that's why that network is set up like that. It's just feeding energy into what he's into. But he has been obsessively watching the show, and I didn't realize how sensitive like I had got energetically. But my attitude goes from 0 to 100 after listening to them heifers yell for like an hour about nothing. Like he be getting cussed out. And he's like, what is your issue? Like, I told you I'm sensitive energy. Please don't play that around me. Put on headphones or something. I can't deal with that. So in me being kind to myself, that's likely why after a while of doing this job or getting too popular, I have to tend to pull myself away because I pick up on other people's stuff. So when I looked into self contracts, the one that stood out to me was Kanye. He had a self contract, and I'm like, oh, I could see how that could go bad. Because with the self contract, you were learning yourself in and out. You are your weapon, you are your tool, you are your thing. But along with that, you are also deeply aware of everything you have sacrificed and put into building yourself. So it creates like a monster ego that you have to fight. I don't know if it's better to have to learn how to play nice with somebody who is your complete opposite, which is the lover's contract, or to deal with like your supreme self. So if anybody who has the self contract versus the lover's contract has any opinions, I would love to know about that. My mom has. She has the self contract. And I'll say, I can see how that plays out right now. She lives by herself. And that's kind of because her standards for a guy are, in her defense, she does not put anything on anybody else that she would not put on herself. It's just maybe she also needs to stop being so hard on herself. But she is a Venus in Virgo. That's not really gonna happen. So now I'm turning on my transcendence frequency, guys. So I can do this pull. I've explained all the contracts, but because of the fact that this contract card has been in my face, there's a message I need to do about the contract. So whatever your contract is, I just filled you in now on some details about it. And you can even mix it up. So I was explaining that I'm in a lover's contract, but I have a contract for my home. That's because the person that I am in the lover's contract with has their contract in the seventh house, mine is in the fourth. So I got the home or the kids or the family, and he gets all the other stuff when we're not together. When we come together, we have it all lovely. When you have a contract that relies on somebody else, it takes on some of their energy and their stuff in their chart, right? You have to blend the elements of each part of your contract to fully understand. So if you have a Saturn and Gemini in the fifth house at the seventh degree, right? You need a partner that helps you learn things so that you learn how to fully express yourself creatively. I like to think of all of this as sky math, and I like to do different formulas. So maybe when I do this video or I release it, I will show the formula for like your contract for you to understand. The house it's in is where it will play out. The sign it's in is how the energy is released, I guess you would say. Because if it's in Gemini, you have to write, you have to speak, you have to talk about it, you have to think about it. It just has to be logical. At the seventh degree, there has to be somebody else with you. There has to be a partner. I'll say the degree is how you execute it. So let me pull, and I'm gonna ignore that kryptonite. I don't like that. I will ignore messages from me all day if I don't like that. I don't want to deal with it. I keep getting the same messages that I have got like for the last like 2 years. Like, mm-mm, mm-mm. I'm in love with the boogeyman. He does not exist. He is the tooth fairy. So every time I say he's gonna say something, who's he? Even today, I just posted a video. It was like your secret of mine is about to come forward, and I just posted it with Cat because that's all I ever hear. He's a ghost. Like, yeah, he's a human, but he's a human ghost too, just like the spirit version of him that I have to deal with all the time. What a weird time to be alive. So, what does the collective need to know about their contracts at this time? As soon as I started tapping into that, my mind started thinking about the North Node in Pisces. What is it? Because I don't gamble. What is it with when the person in charge of the casino says, okay, wrap it up, clear all the tables. They're all being called in. That's what I just felt immediately with that. And that's like what just hit my phone. Somebody wants to know about their contract for work. Crazy, right? So look out. Things are percolating in the background. Do I need to turn this? Because look at old boy. You can also interpret that as somebody has been watching you while their shit is going to hell. I mean, there are two different interpretations. Because you see there's somebody like, can y'all see that? I can't wait till this new webcam gets here. Uh, yeah, there we go. That's better. He's looking out, but everything around him is like, lazy. So something's coming out of nowhere. But this made me think about the fire behind him. Is it because something else happened to that person out of nowhere? Could be. Contracts are being activated, so a lot of changes are coming out of nowhere. Oh, this goes with the angel message I did yesterday. I did a post just trying to explain to everybody how their asteroid angel works out, right? And oh, I forgot, almost forgot. That's a part of what I'm supposed to be teaching y'all here today. But when after I did my post, I noticed that one of my favorite astrologer girls, she had did a post on angel stuff the day before, like within 24 hours of the time that I just did it. And I was like, well, hold on here. Now we're on to something. I went to go look at the transits, guys, and the moon was right next to asteroid angel. This means that everybody was getting called in. Like if you had been an angel at any given time, you were being activated now for what's happening next year. As far as I can tell, what's happening next year is some whoa. I guess I had to say it that way. So let me show y'all something cool in the middle of this pause. Let me share my screen. And my daughter needed lunch money, so that's why she keeps writing me. Let me do this. All right, as I told you, whenever my kids write, I can't never not be there for my babies. I will say while I was younger, I did not have the mother that I thought I wanted and needed. Like I did not. I wanted to be best friends with her, but like in the loving way, supportive. That's not what I had. And it took me a very long time to like get over that and just accept her as she is. Like that's Kimmy, that's how she is, right? But I didn't realize how much relief would come in being what I wanted to have to my children. So they can tell you now, it doesn't matter what they do. One of them just got caught with a hickey, and that's never happened with any of them. A whole doozy. But were we able to talk it out? Yeah. I mean, she's about to be 18, so there was not much I could say, but I didn't even have the talk with her or anything. So it's nice when I get to hear my kids come to me and they say, my friends tell me stories about their parents all the time. And I realize how lucky I am to have. And that's fourth house contract, y'all. I did it. I didn't even recognize. Oh, this just put me in my feelings. My children are always gonna put me in my feelings. I love those guys. That three of my children have Venus in Cancer. Your Venus is your value system. Whatever sign you have it in is where you learn your values from. This whole time I was being tested. If I had been a crappy mom, it would have been visible in three of my children. Two of them also have moon in first, which means however their mother treats them or however they grew up, they wear on their sleeve. All of them are fine. They're all lame. And I love that. I love that for them. Where are they at most of the time when they're not at school? Here with me, or they're hanging out with their little friends. They don't get in trouble or anything. Even the hickey thing was just like a little blemish, a little pebble on the path. So check your children's Venuses. It tells you where they are learning the way that they're going to set their moral code from. I have one that has it in Capricorn. That's the one who came home with the hickey. So wish me luck on that one, guys. So let me show y'all something. I had a whole conversation with you guys about the presidency because I pulled cards, right? And when I pulled these cards, it said that the future was female, that this woman was going to win, right? And at the time, I wasn't a big fan of that, not a big fan of her, but I did not know that I had any past life issues with Lilith or the Lilith energy or anything, right? So let me tell y'all this. Uh, Recently, one of my clients had some issues, and I realized it was like Lilith. Lilith didn't want her to fall in love because they had had a really tight bond, and she thought if she fell in love, she would no longer align with her morals or whatever the case was. So, of course, when I'm doing this for a client, I am forced to tap in and be the person that is sending back and forth messages. It was at this time that I found out the reason that I had such an aversion to the Lilith energy because many lifetimes I was abused because of my sexuality being something that was worn on my sleeve. So I was not tapped into that. There's now a whole storyline that I need to share with you guys because Lilith's history has also been deleted. They just turned her into this night succubus that kills and hates men. But there's a whole lore that would bring it together. So after made peace with that and understood that Saturn has been put away, Below, the seven sisters are now in charge. Let me show you guys, just just so y'all can know where to find it. Women are in charge in the underworld, which means that Earth is about to move in that direction because, ironically enough, we here on Earth are most tethered to the underworld, and it's ruled by Lilith, this sphere. But it had been robbed from her before now. There we go. So my daughter came to me this week, and she was talking about we were in her dream doing contracts and like getting sorting people out and stuff. And she didn't understand what the dream was, but she tells me her dream because she knows I can decipher them. So I was like, oh, that means the girls are back in power. They're down there sorting stuff out because the guys have been put wherever or they're running around because there are seven kings too. And the seven kings are the guys that have been in charge of how the planet is right now. They were in charge since that whole Watchergate thing from the Garden of Eden. They have not been put away yet, just Saturn, but they are being given a chance for redemption. So they're how they act following this, and I know it sounds wild to understand underworld, middle world, and then like celestial stuff, but how they act once a woman is given a position of power will determine their fate. I get really about saying who's going to win, although I pulled cards and it said her. Several things are telling me that it's supposed to be the futurist female to be fair. Going forward, that's supposed to happen. There's something in the back of my mind that says it's not above the boys to screw the timeline. If they screw the timeline, they send us into the descending one, where Mr. Trump starts doing a genocide thing by putting people into cages. That's going to spark that war I was talking about. So coming back over here, after I got over my little shit, I came back to her chart. When I first looked at it, all I saw was that she had Lucifer conjunct the moon, which means she was a part of the family. I was like, this is the dead guys, right? But guys, I did not know Lilith was one of her name was originally Lilith. Uh, you can even look it up as like Min Kurt Sag or something. But in the Garden of Eden, there was Enki, there was Enlil, and then there was Lilith. They were the scientists that created humanity through their own DNA. Technically, Eve was her daughter, right? They removed any knowledge of the fact that she had a hand in humanity just so nobody would know that women had any sort of power, right? When I came to Kamala's chart, I was like, hold on, I need to check her Lilith because something is telling me that this is Lilith finally taking her place. Please look at her seventh house and her Lilith at the first degree of self. I taught you guys about Pinocchio this week. Pinocchio is the asteroid that lets you know when somebody's a husk, right? It has to be in the first house or at a husk degree like the first, the 13th, or the 20, was it 20, what is it? 25th, right? The degrees of self. Like that's what it has to be in order for somebody to actually embody the wooden structure, right? Because people are portals and the beings from the other side use different people to get different stuff done if they are void people, right? Look at her Pinocchio. It's at the 13th degree of self, right? Her Uranus, which is the radical change in her life, 13th degree of self. Her unique genius, 13th degree of self. So at some point, I'm guessing after she became vice president, which is technically lit. I'm lit. Technically, what Lilith has been to Lucifer this whole time, the vice president, Madame Satan. Uh, she stepped into this body. That's not just Kamala that everybody's secretly rooting for. She just did the mystique to y'all. She hopped in the body of the person who's going to step into power to rightfully take her chance at creating the world because the brothers have been ruling it before now. So, Asteroid Angel is what I came here to show y'all about. But I felt like that was really important, and somebody else is going to be like, "Oh, I knew it. Something was." But no, somebody wrote me. It was like, "How can this person be leading the divine feminine when she's in her masculine energy?" No, baby, you have been taught that anything that is not soft is masculine. No, she's in her empowered feminine. I don't even want to say dark feminine anymore because dark wants revenge, dark wants to hurt people. No, she wants to give stuff back. I noticed that a lot of her jargon, I guess, as you would say, is about women's rights. Like that's what they started pushing really heavily. And I was not understanding because I was trying to mind my business at first, just because this politic thing is it's people playing through bodies. It's the same group doing the same thing, fighting over the same thrones. But now knowing the significance of the timelines and how they split, if the future goes female, Lilith is in charge. There's going to be a very interesting time for dudes because women will be stepping into their power. But there's also a group of females who will be stepping into their soft feminine energy to come into balance as well. So there are two different things there. But most definitely, Donald's timeline is the one that we don't want. I had a lot of hope because his son is conjunct Yeshua. He was supposed to be an angel of some sort. But his father, his Saturnian energy, overpowered that and made him become something other than what he was originally meant to be. We don't always overcome our own contracts and our own karma and stuff, right? So her angel is at the sixth degree. That's that Virgo. That's that volunteer. And hers is in the eighth house, right? Where I also said there was debt. You owed something. Uh, Hers is in Aquarius. That means it will play out on the world stage where her moon is. And I did not say anybody who had planets or Saturn in the 11th house was doing something for a group or a collective. I would say that the angelic version of Lilith is attempting to step into a place of power to fix things. Now, what comes of that afterwards? But in her design, she's coming to set a new belief system based upon a healing energy. Her Virgo energy is in her fourth house. Her contract is in a fourth house degree. She's coming to be a former mom. Even her son is right next to a 28th degree Eros. Like her zest for life is in nurturing and helping people. And I never looked at her contract like this, but I had a little block. I'm Gucci on that. Now let's see. We're good old DTs. Angel is that, since I'm teaching you how to understand that. Because your contracts go along with your angelic gifts. You're a particular type of angel in order to handle a certain contract. That dude was even, he is sent to logos, which means that this whole time he has been able to hear God. So I see him with his little Bible and stuff sometimes, and I'm like, I wonder if this is just like, no, but he's serious about it. The problem is his son is at the 22nd degree. What does that mean, guys? It's ruled by his Saturn. It's ruled by his father, like I was saying, and I didn't even understand that. His inner child, or his Capricorn energy, his inner child was restricted by his father. Even the fact that the fifth house, which rules the inner child, is ruled by Leo, being in his 12th house of unconscious. Have you seen my childhood? Is the theme there. His inner child is hurt, baby. So his angel is at the 14th degree, which means it was supposed to be a Taurus one. That means somebody who gives back to the earth. And it's in the second house, somebody who gives back to the earth, the animals. But his Chiron is next to that, his wound. This means that it will be inverted in some way. And his focus will be on wealth. He will be using his angelic capabilities, his ability to hop around and talk to other people, which is what it is when you have an Libra. It's a eloquence in the way that one speaks or converses or connects with other people. He will be using it for money instead. But his contract is at the 23rd degree in the 11th house. That means for a certain group of people, for a certain collective, that's what his contract was for. He wanted a hive, but it's next to his Venus, which is on himself. This is a self contract to be a leader. I mean, technically, I could consider this like one would be a cult leader if you have self energy on top of a contract that is giving you a large group of people to follow. So, what is the thorn in DT's side? It never feels like enough. That's what his Chiron just said to me. No matter what he has, it never feels like enough. And it's all because of that inner child wound. So, guys, I wasn't participating in any of this election stuff. And I did not understand why the card said her, but I can see it now. I'll be very interested to see how this plays out because it makes a big impact on next year, on what kind of war we are having. So right here we got Mr. West, because I figured that'd be an interesting person to look at the angel asteroid on, right? And of course, who saw this coming, right? His angel was Lilith, or the energy that his angel gives other people. Now, Lilith's energy, because nobody knew the truth about her and just assumed that she was the one that ruined the whole Garden of Eden, uh, it's like people love it and hate it, and it rubs them the wrong way, which is interesting because he kept trying to tell people like angelic messages the whole time, and they were just calling him crazy. I could see that too, right? His Chiron, which is the wound that you have to deal with in order for other people to relate to you, is next to his Venus, his value. So sometimes his sense of self worth was a blessing and a curse, but it's because that Chiron, that wound that was actually supposed to knock him down a couple pegs, is connected to his logos. That's where you hear God speaking to you. He could hear it like on his sleeve, like constantly. But that went against his desires for wealth, his desires for fame. And what is his contract? I did tell y'all it was a self contract because he has it in the sign of Leo. This is that unique self, your creative self. But at the 12th degree, he wanted to clear his past stuff, which makes sense because his sun is in the 12th house. That means you want to clear all your human off the board. And having Reiki at 13th degree, the 13th degree is a degree of self. He wanted to heal himself through being with his family, which is why his North Node was in Libra. His wife was a Libra. This is a mess. So what happens when, did he marry a Libra again? No, he married a Capricorn. That's the wrong way. Well, maybe Capricorn technically would be in his seventh house too. So that's a sneaky way that it could have slid in there. But his contract was on determining his own value because it's in the second house through his creativity so that he can clear the board and spend the rest of his time with his family. We'll see what the future holds. But I hope those were a good couple ways for you guys to better understand the configurations. I've really been heavy on wanting to explain how the chart works together, pretty much to create a holographic being in their experience in this lifetime. So back to this contract. Things have been coming together since spring that will reveal themselves in the winter. Out of nowhere. I need a clarifier. And this is my new clarifier deck. Somebody asked me to show the decks more or list them and name them. So my fave is the Akashic Tarot. This one is great if you don't have meditation version access to the Akashic Records. This is like a quick library card. This is your library pack. And it also helps you open up your channels and understand how your gifts are coming through. This one I just got, clarifying life situations. I am still making a decision on how I feel about this. I do like the fact that these cards come in the box. You'll know how I am about that. But these have an answer on the top and the bottom. Now, are the answer on the top and the bottom the same sort of kind of? Yeah, but in different ways. And I didn't even actually, I'm going to pull that out because it just stood out to me. But can I get clarification on this King of Roses? Grasp the feather of hope, a delicate symbol of upward promises and an uplifting future. That flew out. So these cards are great because they just slide. The one that stood out to me a second ago was Tide of Transition. Embrace the tides of change with openness, allowing the ebb and flow of life to guide your transformation into love and work. This goes with the video I did the other day. What was the name of that video? Because y'all know as soon as I post one, out of my other videos, all new everything. I did that 2 days ago. This goes along with that message. And the fact that the song Ironic popped up after I finished. That that ironic energy is making me think of this. Like as soon as you give up on a manifestation, it shows up, and you're like, that's what it feels like. This message is still supposed to be giving you hope. Whatever you ever trying to manifest, be on the lookout. Or don't be on the lookout. Either way, you already did something to plant the seeds, and it has to do with the contract that you had anyway. You only ever want something that was already programmed into your human in the first place. And I just had a weird, like, where is Donald's Pinocchio? Let me go back and see. Is he a real boy? His daddy made him turn into an unreal boy. He started off real. Let me show y'all that just so y'all can see what that configuration is, just to get an idea. That's sad. That means his heart had to close at some point. In order for you to be born alive and then to have to turn into Pinocchio, to turn into somebody who lies to get stuff done, which I don't want to be a judge of people, but I enjoy him as a character in the game. If I was watching Earth from above, looking at these people like this was a series, this would be one of my favorite characters. And I'm gonna say this like blatantly. When he first won that election, I was in my feelings for a second. I was like, no way, this can't be life. I thought God was fair. And then I paused and I was like, on the other hand, if this man can become president, who really did not have the credentials or anything, how much hope should that give somebody? Like you can do anything you put your delulu mind to. And that's what I made me start looking at his character different. Despite all his politics and all that other stuff, I'm looking at the character. He was abused as a child. It doesn't matter how rich his family was or anything. That does not matter to a child. He was abused. He was made to feel like crap. His mother even left him at one point because his dad was such a horrible person. Left her children with their dad. This is the product of a child left with their abuser who was forced to believe that they weren't worth anything unless they became somebody. So what do you become then? The president of the United States at any means. So I just said this Pinocchio got triggered, right? Look, it's at the 21st degree in his inner child. So around 5 years old is when he shut his heart. And I'm getting the ping that I need to show you guys the heart in your chart. It rhymes. So Herzen is the frequency of your heart. And you can find that right under here. This is astro.com, by the way, guys. You can enter any asteroid. And there's also this really long list of all the asteroids that have ever been found. We are looking for Herzen, the heart frequency. There we go. 3052. I'm gonna be a smart ass. Something told me that I need to hit dick too. Is that gonna be my focus for today? Oh my goodness, this is so bad. I just have to go along with the flow. I'll pull on that again. I'm like, why is tickle on the brain? So, we'll focus on that in a second. Hold on. So, his heartbeat. Where is his Herzen? Okay, at the third degree, himself in the eighth house. It was based upon his thoughts of himself. And somebody destroyed his self-esteem. So that makes sense, right? He would have to go to a psychologist to heal what's happened to him. And I don't even know at this age if that's possible, although I believe there's healing for everybody if they're open. I don't think he thinks he's broken or realizes that he's broken in any way, shape, or form. I don't know if anybody's actually shown him empathy. So this Pinocchio is next to his vertex. Your vertex is a fated event, right? His fated event is tied to his sun because it's at the 22nd degree. Things at the same degree feed into one another. Him turning into a wooden puppet was a fated event. How was it fated? Look at his moon at the 21st degree. His mother leaving was the trigger. Since I wanted to bring y'all here to focus on the angel asteroid, look at his angel. It's in retrograde. It's in retrograde at the Virgo degree. So retrograde usually means that you have to take some time to figure out the energy within yourself. But in this case, because of so many other difficult factors, it didn't come to fruition. And it was at a Virgo degree. It would have required him to heal from what happened to him as a child in order for him to step into his angelic self. Right now, he's still put on camp. That dick is at zero, zero. I gotta zoom in because I want to holler, but I'm keeping it together because I'm trying to be mature. So I will say this upon us that you can tell stuff about somebody's member from their chart. This is at the 0th degree. Retrograde. I ain't even gotta tell y'all, ain't nothing good coming from this. And I am on the highest octave. Look, frequency, I'm on the 999 frequency. This is the nicest anybody can be about something, just with this energy point thing. And yes, I can still talk about things here because they are the conduit which source allows himself to be inserted into the feminine energy. The way to look at it that this man needs a sexual healer. And I'm saying that because his Reiki is at the 8th degree, which is a sexual degree in Scorpio. But it's like somebody to make him feel better about his member, his sexual prowess, as if y'all wanted to know this. I gotta know what y'all gotta know too. Shit. Uh, it's in his mind game, his mind trickery. It's not really the actual member. When I just looked at that retrograde and that 0 degree, it gave any belly button energy. I don't know if that's possible to have that happen with a teen. I haven't seen a wide variety of them, but my mind was just like, Sharpay. And this is horrible. Like, it's a great gift to have, but oh my goodness, I can understand why so much is going into his career. Like, he need a friend. I hope Melania is holding him down. He went too far from it. Oh man, he had all the odds stacked against him. Oh my goodness, y'all. So this video was wild. I don't even know what I'm gonna name it. That really just took me out. Just know that this is the same message as all new everything. New things are coming. Whatever seeds you were planting in spring will be arriving during the winter before the next spring comes about, or even summer around that time. It's like whatever happens in the winter is connected to something important that will happen in the summer because somebody's bringing some sort of offer. That thing said love and work again out of nowhere. It's like all the stuff that you have been pulling together will be coming together because of that North Node Pisces. Stability, the roots of stability, something that's lasting. And Saturn is in charge of things that last. So I guess I'm feeling like because bad dad got put to sleep, everybody's contracts are now being fulfilled. There's no more trickery. There's no more. You know what I think Ursula did in order to make sure that Ariel didn't get what she was promised after she did the necessary thing? That trickery is over. That's what the Seven Kings were in charge of. It feels like going forward, the contracts are going to be fair. And anybody who has been held up for whatever reason, whose contract did not get fulfilled after they did put in the hard work, that's like that moment in the Saw movies where the guys that were in charge of running the game started not letting people through, even though they did what was necessary. That's what was happening and why people were stuck here too long. That's over now. So what can everybody look forward to in this future, in this upcoming timeline? My aunt just came to mind. That is the goddess of balance and the ruler of Libra. And this is my energy oracle. This is good if you're a person who is a physical empath and you can feel things in your body. So when a card comes up, you're like, I get what this is. Bam. That was the feeling I just got because right, and my aunt is here, the Libra angel of balance, right? This is everything. I don't want to go based on the presidential, although I know that that's two different timelines. Even if it's just the United States is affecting everywhere, because the root chakra is in this country. If the root starts to heal, the rest of the planet starts to heal. That's a new timeline. This is all about different chakras being healed and families being healed and things coming back into the order they were supposed to based upon what originally happened in the garden. Before now, things were bound, all tied up. The feminine was bound. It's being let out the gate, guys. So I very much look forward to what's going to happen now that it seems we are heading towards the happily ever after. I don't know. Y'all have a good day.